Are you tired of cleaning the pool all by yourself? Let me introduce you to the new Spino E1. This is made by channel sponsor Mammotion, who previously does lawn cutting robots, but they're getting into the pool cleaning business. Really excited to test this out. Let's get started. Now, many of the robots I talk about are pretty complicated and have quite the setup, but that's not true here with a pool cleaner. Very simple, just a few buttons, and we'll be cleaning in just a minute. Let's check out what's in the box. First up here, we have the Spino E1. It does also come with an instruction sheet, very simple to operate. Here we do have some user guides. Then we have a charging brick, so it does have some mounts on there if you want to mount it outside. And then here we have a plug, and that's going to just plug in right there. Just took a couple hours to charge up. It comes with a pool hook. So here on the back or the front, we have a little handle that you can easily hook it out of the pool, but it also has waterline parking. So once it's done, it's gonna park it right there at the top and you can easily pull it out of the water. This was not included, but don't forget your sunscreen. We are outside today, so must have that. Now here on the Spino E1, it's using this Caterpillar tread system. So these are about 1.5 inches wide. Now under here we have the filter. Now this is a 180 micron filter. So it's able to fit quite a bit on there. And then these are very fine filter that's going to suction the water out and get it all through here to get it cleaned up. Now up here is where the water is going to come out, and this is able to go through 5,800 gallons per hour. So the pool we're using today, it's going to do half that in 1 hour, 2 hours. It's going to do that, and the battery life is going to be about 210 minutes or around 3.5 hours to clean the pool. Now this can support up to a pool of 1,600 square feet. So we're only dealing with about 300 square feet today. Now operating this is incredibly simple. All we need to do is hold down the power button to turn it on. Then here we have a green light indicating the charge. If it has less than 25% charge, it's going to be red. If it has less than 50, it's going to be yellow. And then I think there's a blue, and then green is above 75%. So now we can just push this button and it's going to change the mode. So when we push, it's going to select the first one, which is all. So this is going to first do the walls and then the floor. We push it again, it's then just going to cover the floor. And then we do the wall. And then here we have eco mode. And when on eco mode, it's actually going to clean every other day, and it's going to do 3 different 50-minute cycles. And then with the all, it's actually going to do half the battery on the wall, half the battery on the floor. Very simple. Now this can also be connected to the Mammotion app, where when you go in there, you have those same functions, but you have one more option, which is max mode. This allows you to then turn on that filter to the highest setting, that 5,800 gallons per hour, and really get your pool cleaned in no time. So very simple. And once it's done, it's going to come to the water line, and then we can easily pull it out, let it drain, and then we can pick it up out of the water. The machine itself is about 20 pounds, so it is a little bit hefty once there's water in it, but not too bad once all the water is out. And down here at the back, we have the brush, which is 11.4 inches wide, and it's able to easily be removed if you need to clean it, but that's going to be scrubbing the floor. And then here is where we have the suction, where it's going to go into the filter there, and it's going to suck down to the bottom of your floor. Now the motor itself is a 3 brushless motor, and it has also been tested for 2,500 hours. So this is going to last quite a long time. Now as for the design, it's very similar to the Mammotion lawnmower robots that I've tested out. This does have UV resistant construction, as well as it is IPX8 waterproof and double layer battery protection. That's a problem I've had on other robot pool cleaners, is the battery was the first thing to fail. So having that double layer protection is really gonna help. Let's turn this on, drop it in the water. Now I just need to turn it on, select the mode I want. I think I'm going to start with the walls, and then we're gonna get the floor. We have a ton to clean up on the floor, so this will be a great before and after. And then once I have that mode selected, so let's say we're on the floor right now, I just need to lower it into the water. All right, just put it on wall. Then it takes a second. You're going to hear the motor turn on, and we just need to rest it in the water, and it's going to push all the water out, sink down, and begin its cleaning. See the water that it's now pushing through, begins climbing up the wall, scrubbing the wall all the way up to the water line. All All right, it has now finished going all the way around. Now, one of the things I love about making YouTube videos is how much I learn. So first, when I started the floor, I should have started it right next to the stairs so it didn't have to go around them, because at one point when it got to there, it then just kind of started all the way back over here. So start right here, and then it went left from where I'm standing and went all the way around. Now, we did experience one problem, and I don't know if that's necessarily with the E1, but I believe it's with the pool. So the pool, most pools are gonna be a nice straight up and down wall. Well, here, the pool kind of goes like this. So at the very top is out further than the bottom. Well, when the E1 goes up, it's not able to stay suctioned because it's at a slant, and it comes off and then just keeps trying to go up that same spot again because it wasn't able to go fully down and then go over. So the E1 didn't work the best on this pool just because of how it is shaped. It's really bowed out from the bottom to the top. Just something you might need to know. But let's go ahead and see how much it has picked up just from cleaning the wall so far. So each time you take it out of the pool, you want to check the filter. So in here, we're just going to pop that up. Here we see a few leaves and things in here. There's a few more down there. We can see how much the filter has taken all of that stuff and put it on there. So we're gonna need to clean that off before we put that back in. It's gonna be recommended to do this every once in a while just so that it is working at its best. That could be one of the reasons why maybe it wasn't suctioning, because it didn't have enough power suctioning through this. And then there is the flap where it's going to keep everything inside this bin and not let it go back into the pool. Now set to floor, it's given the beep to put it in. Now when it's cleaning the floor, it's going to navigate around and kind of create a path to go on. Now this is using 12 different sensors to know exactly where it is. And this path planning is called Intelligent Smart Arc Path Planning. So this is going to help it achieve a full cleaning of all of the different floor, and it adjusts the direction by 45 degrees after each cycle so that it has full coverage of the floor. Okay, it's been going for about an hour now. Let's go ahead and check out how it's going. While it's in, I can easily use the hook, pull it up. And it takes about 5 seconds for all the water to drain out. And there we go. Quite a bit of gunk in there. Filter's clogged up again, and time to wash it out. Now I actually just washed this out, let it run for a few more minutes, and there is still a ton of gunk. So it's filtering out a ton, but I have so much in here, it might take quite a while. So I'm just gonna empty this every few minutes until we really get some of this gunk out of here. We think some sand or something got in here. So hopefully that isn't a problem at your house, but this might take a while to clean. So far, we're a few hours in of the cleaning. The battery is almost dead. I was about to call it a night, and I was wondering why it's not actually picking up much of what's on the ground. Well, it's not the E1's fault. I didn't know, but when they recently drained the pool to clean it, there was a bunch of algae that was kind of dried up and stuck to the bottom of the pool. And I said, hey, don't worry about it. Fill it back up. We'll come clean it with the cleaner. But that was all stuck so hard that I needed to go through and scrape all of it off before it could then be cleaned up. So you'll see some clips where it's not picking it up. That's because it was dried onto the bottom of the pool when there was no water in there. So I have now gone through, scraped all of this. Now I think the Spino E1 is going to clean it all up. All right, set to floor. Let's roll. And now that it has a low battery, it's parked itself up on the side for me to grab. So that was the second cleaning, and it was able to get a lot more. It doesn't show a ton in here, but I can tell that a ton of dirt has been picked off. off the floor. Let's go ahead and clean this. And then that did run out of battery, and as it ran out of battery, it went up onto the wall and it went all the way to the top. You could kind of hear it, and then it turned off and stayed over there on the edge. So really cool to see the full process. Now, one thing I've noticed is the Spino E1 loves to pop wheelies here in the pool, and I think this is very similar to the problem I was having with the wall. Is on the floor, it's pretty bumpy under here. There's some sand, and then it's just not very smooth. So I'm wondering if it's not getting a great suction to the floor to be able to fully suction up. But the good news is I've now found that there is a turbo option or a max mode here in the app. So I'm just going to turn on the robot here. And I also found that you can connect the E1 to Wi-Fi, and so that it can then be controlled there, but it can't be controlled while it's in the water. It has to be above the water so it has signal. Underwater, there is no signal. Now that we are connected, we're gonna tap on the settings here, and we have a few options where we can turn on a buzzer, so you just heard it buzz, and then here we have the beta features. So here we have the turbo cleaning. When I turn this on, it's then going to perform that 5,800 gallons per hour suction. So very good suction to the floor, so it should prevent the wheelies and get a better cleaning. And then here it says it's only available on the floor and the wall. And once you turn it off, it's gonna restart. So that's ready to go. Let's see how that works. There you can see the nice line it created in the dirt, sucking that up. And it looks like it's doing a much better job at suctioning to the bottom of the floor, so it's not popping wheelies all over the place. It's been about 30 minutes. Let's check out that filter. And there we go. Every time, tons of gunk that needs to be cleaned out. So love that it's getting caught in here. And then we're gonna try the turbo mode on the wall. And there as it comes up. Oh, wasn't able to stick the landing. Now there it wasn't able to fully adhere when it was cleaning the water line, but as it went back down, it was able to suction back against the wall, letting it know that it's cleaned this section and now it's moving to the next area. So that is definitely improved from just the regular wall cleaning mode on this specific pool. Now I was just watching this from the drone to see how it did, and it was crazy to see the path planning in action. It started right down here in the middle, kept going back and forth, just like lawn mowing, and went all the way to the edge. I wasn't sure it was able to do that, and it was really cool to see that. It only took about 15 minutes to clean this half of the pool on this 250 square foot pool. Now it's over here going a different direction, cleaning the rest. So there is only a little bit more to clean, but over on this side, compared to when we started, it is crazy how much different this looks, cleaning up all of that different gunk. Of course, we had to clear out the filter a few different times, but this is looking way more ready for a pool party. And we have finished the fourth cleaning, 3 after we scraped up all of the dirt on the ground. Let's take a look at how this looks. And this is gonna take just a couple more cleanings to filter all this out, but there was quite a bit of gunk here on the floor. This looks way better than when we started. So after doing 2 full cleanings with the Spino E1, there's definitely a few things I learned. And at first I did have a few concerns with it not being able to stay on the wall and then not cleaning the floor. We did solve some of those problems, scrubbing the floor to get that residue off. The pool just hadn't been deeply cleaned for a while, so there was a lot there, but once we cleaned that off, it was much easier for this to pick it up. And then the filter was getting full pretty often, and I had to clean it out. And then I was a little concerned with that wheelie mode, and it's hard to tell if that's just because of the pool, if that's the E1, but I only have one pool to test this on, so thankfully there was turbo mode, and turbo mode solved that problem, being able to suction fully to the ground and even come up on the wall, which is great to see. And then it was able to fully clean without any issues. So it would be nice if turbo mode was enabled by default, or at least you had an option, but it's great that you can go in the app and turn that on when you need a deep clean. Now, some of the other suction problems maybe could be fixed if they extended this rubber pad all the way around. I've kind of seen that on some of the other pool cleaners. Maybe that would help it have a more full suction to the ground. Maybe not. I'm not the engineer, but like I said, this is Mammotion's first pool cleaning robot, so they're definitely going to learn a few things. But I love the simplicity of this. I love you just turn it on, you choose the mode you want, put it in the water, and it does the job. Once it's done, it goes to the side and you can pull it out, recharge it, empty the filter and everything. I did have to empty the filter quite often, but that's just because we have so much residue. I can see that after cleaning it fully, so we'll probably need one more cleaning and it will clean up all this dirt. But after that, maybe you put it in once a day or, you know, a couple times a week, and then you'll just need to empty the filter after it's full cleaning or maybe mid cleaning, and that will be plenty to keep it running and keep your pool clean long term. So if you have any further questions about this later on, please let me know down in the comments below, and maybe we have learned a few things since then. But if you want to pick up your own Spino E1, make sure you check out the link down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Are you tired of cleaning your pool by yourself?